like Something About Mary type of look. Hello and welcome. This video I'm going to share with you what sold for me on the various platforms that I sell on for the end of May. I know my last video I accidentally said March. No, we're in May. I'm in May. Well, actually now we're in June, but you know what I mean. I wasn't quite awake my last what sold video, so sorry about that for any confusion, but this is for the end of May, so that's going to be May 22nd until May 31st, and Miss Moxie will be down here and shuffling around per usual. So like normal, hello baby girl, we gotta get you over here, and we're gonna start with the lowest selling platform first, or the lowest performing platform first, and that would be Etsy. Etsy, I did make 2 sales. The first sale is this edition of Dream Snake, which is a novel I reviewed over on my book channel. If you are interested in that, I will link that up above. And it sold to probably a viewer for a cost of $5. I normally just try to pass on deals on my book channel. I read the book. If I really love it, I will buy it in hardcover and pass on the paperback. If it's not something that I really particularly care for, I will just pass it on and let someone else read another vintage paperback. So it sold for $5 and the buyer paid for shipping and tax. You're just seeing the total amount here. The next item was another packet of seeds. I'm now sold out of daylily seeds until my daylilies produce more seeds this season. So it sold again for $2.55. So this is with tax. I just stick a regular stamp on it and mail it off, and I've never had a problem with this. So really happy that I've sold out of those and that it's been a consistent thing for me to just make a couple of bucks every year. Shift over here and we're gonna go to Facebook Marketplace. I only have 1 sale on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm actually really surprised that this sold on Facebook Marketplace. It is a vintage 70s rockabilly piece. I paid like 50 cents for this at an estate sale, and it sold on offer. Someone was like, hey, will you take 18? I originally listed this at 20. Absolutely, I'll take $18, very reasonable. So it sold on Facebook Marketplace for $18, and on Facebook they pay for shipping. So very excited and surprised that that vintage piece sold on Facebook. So I'm not gonna knock that. And then we're gonna go, hello, over to Poshmark. Baby girl, you're very close to getting butt booted again. I'm gonna go over to Poshmark, and I sold this Patagonia chinchilla that I recently picked up. This was the oatmeal colorway for $35 on Poshmark, and on Poshmark the buyer pays for shipping. Some of you might be like, why did you only sell it for $35? It's like, well, this basic of a chinchilla was kind of selling in that price range both on Poshmark and on eBay. The number of lowball offers I got on eBay, I was just like, goodbye, please. I don't want to deal with declining offers for like until this sells. So I was very happy when I got the $35 offer on Poshmark and just let it go. The other one, the blue one, that I priced high, and I'm not going to let it go for a low amount of money. But this one was a more basic piece and not as well sought after as the more geometric prints for the chinchilla. This item was free to me, and I've had this for a while. So my aunt during quarantine cleared out her closet and gave me all of her old stuff that she didn't want anymore. Some of it was stained, so I bleach dyed it to try to save it. This was a vintage Cocoa Beach long sleeve shirt. I bleach dyed it, and it made like this really cool like cloud pattern, at least kind of what it looked like to me. And it sold finally for $15. Very happy to see that. That was an offer that was sent to me, so I didn't have to give a discount at all. And the same thing with this. This is another piece that my aunt gave me, and it had some stainings on it, and so I bleach dyed it, and it also sold for $15. So both of these items were free to me, so $12 for each one, pure profit. Very excited about that. And I think I actually made a video about bleach dyeing it. If I did, I'll link it up above, but I don't remember because it was 2 years ago, and my brain is fuzzy today, so. All right, and now we're gonna go over to eBay, which is my main bay, and here's a close-up of Miss Moxie just ragdolling it as I move her over here, because if I don't, as you guys have seen, it'll just, my butt will just push her right off the side. So the first eBay sale I'm gonna share with you is this Keith Urban 2005 t-shirt. Could I hold on to this for 3 more years and it technically will be vintage? Yes. Do I want to do that at all? Absolutely not. You see here it sold for $5.60 and the buyer paid for shipping. I paid $1 for the shirt. So am I happy it's gone? Yes. This is one of those that was kids XL. So if you don't know, pretty much women didn't have women's cut t-shirts and they weren't readily available and popular until the mid-aughts. So if it was a women's shirt, it was actually just a kids large or kids extra large. So this was a youth extra large, but it was meant to be sold as a women's small, which I put in the title or in the listing. So just in case you don't know, sometimes maybe go into the kids section because vintage women's shirts from the aughts and earlier are going to be probably in the kids section because they're going to be sized youth extra large, but they're meant for adult ladies or for teen ladies. Just in case you didn't know that, now you do. This next sale was worth the amount of work I put into it. So all of these restaurant wear pieces I got for free out of the hoarder house. Not my hoarded house, but the hoarder house I got to pick very early on in this channel. I will link like the first video from that up there in case you're interested in watching any of those. But I got all these for free, and I picked them up because I was really interested. One, you guys know how much I love restaurant wear, and two, I wanted to figure out where it was from because I've never seen this symbol. Like when I was in the house, I was like, these are something. I don't know what they are, but they are something. And I found out that they are 32nd degree Scottish Rite. So these were actually for like one of the places, I think in West Virginia. So I've had these listed pretty much since I went through that hoarded house, and I've had these listed for a very long time. I've had people buy them and then just not pay for them multiple times over the last like what, 3 years, and someone finally bought all of them. So they bought all of the bowls, they bought both the chili bowls and the larger serving bowls. I was just happy to see them gone. Again, these were all free to me. I got to learn some interesting stuff. I got to save some restaurant wear from being thrown in the dumpster because that's what was going to happen. Because I think when I picked these, this was just before the house had sold or was in the middle of a contract. So anything that was left in the house was going to get thrown in the dumpster. So I'm really glad that I saved these. I did get super positive feedback from this person. They were trying to work a deal with me, and they were really trusting because of the offer system. Things were weird. Like they sent me an offer and I accepted the offer, and they're like, well, how do I do this? And I'm like, well, you got to send me an offer for the rest of them because you only sent me an offer for one item. And then they're like, well, how does shipping work? And I said, well, unfortunately with the way this has worked out and you paid for things before I could send you an invoice, you had to pay for all of the shipping. I will just refund the shipping that doesn't get used after I send this, and that's fine. He's like, okay, no worries. And I sent the refund, and he was like, wow, that was great. So I'm just happy that this worked out. I'm happy that it's gone, and I'm happy that I saved some stuff from getting smashed and trashed. Super cool and tired looking editing Bob here. I did want to say that I don't know if you guys noticed, but eBay has this new thing where they put a little green repeat next to any buyers that are repeat buyers, which I think is so cool. Like before you'd be able to tell like this percentage of blah 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 is a repeat buyer for this time period, but they're actually putting little repeats next to the buyers' names now, which I think is awesome. Very cool. So I just wanted to point that out in case it's something that you haven't noticed yet, but eBay has started to roll that out in their latest update. So I'm gonna go back to editing now. That was a really long-winded story to just say that I got some stuff for free. I learned some things when I got it. It took a really long time to sell, and it was worth the wait. This hat is something I picked up recently. It's a red stripe hat. I picked this up at an estate sale for like, I think $1 or something. I think my partner picked it up for me. The boy picked it up for me for $1 because I didn't have any cash, but it sold for $11.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. Don't worry, I supply him with food and also alcohol, so it works out in the end. The next piece is a Banana Republic piece. This is new with tags. It was 100% soap, which is the only reason why I picked it up and paid like $4.50 for it. It sold on offer for $15 and the buyer paid for shipping. This next item is a vintage Flying R ranch wear pearl snap. You guys know I love selling pearl snaps. This one sold for $12 and the buyer paid $5.50 for shipping. Vintage Liz Claiborne belt. I thought that this would sell much sooner than it did. I honestly thought that both with the length and the width and the colors, this would have gone much quicker, but it didn't. But it did eventually sell for my full asking price of $14.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. Sold on eBay after I relisted it and cross-posted it everywhere. So I don't know. It's funny sometimes how that works out, where I'm like, all right, I've relisted this enough times, or ended it and relisted it enough times. I'm just gonna cross-post it everywhere, and then as soon as I do that, it sells in eBay. It's funny sometimes. This is a cabbie piece. I'm really picky with my cabbie pieces. I have to either personally like it and be able to wear it, especially this old tag cabbie, or it has to be at a really nice material. This was a cotton silk piece, and it was an extra small, but it was very oversized. Like, this fit me. And it sold for $12 and the buyer paid $4 for shipping. I paid like $4 for this at a thrift store. This is a J. Crew piece. This is a merino wool vest. May when I sold this, and it sold for $10 and the buyer paid $5.50 for shipping. I paid $2 for this at a thrift store. This is a Kalahio Hawaiian shirt, and it sold for $15 and the buyer paid for shipping. I paid like $4.50 for this at a thrift store. This is also a little bit interesting. I've had both of these for a while and I found them in two separate places. So they're both otagiri and they're both the same like duck pattern that was very popular in the 80s. The set of coasters I actually got for free out of the hoarder house. So again, something I've had listed for like 3 years. But the otagiri mug I actually found recently, so this year, and someone decided to buy both of them. So they sent me an offer of $9.99 for each piece, and I accepted both. And then the buyer paid $10 for shipping, and it was because I had to send both of them. It was actually enough shipping for them both. But I'm really happy, especially since I paid like $1 for the otagiri mug. So I'd basically turned $1 into $19.98. Very happy about that. This is a pair of Adidas track pants. If you're new here, I say Adidas instead of Adidas. Adidas is only said here in the States. Adidas is how it is pronounced everywhere else in the world. It is pronounced that way because it is named after Adolf Dassler, who founded the company, and his nickname was Adi. So Adi Dassler, Adidas. I have to say this every couple of videos. I know for some of you it gets old, but if I don't, someone's gonna be like, you're saying Adidas wrong. No, I'm not. Neither are you. It's just different. So I got this in a ThredUp box and it sold for $9.50 and the buyer paid $5.50 for shipping. I don't remember, I think that was in a menswear box, and this is actually a pair of women's track pants. I'm guessing they didn't realize it was a pair of women's track pants. But this was in a men's ThredUp box, and I finally got around to listing it when I listed Moxie's Nest. This is a thing I got from the Air Force retirees house. I paid less than $1 for this. I finally got around to listing it because it's been sitting here in my death pile in the eBay room. It sold for $11.90 and the buyer paid a flat rate for shipping because this was a very heavy, chunky vest. So very happy about that sale. Again, I've made so much money off of that one estate sale once I finally got around to listing. I think I have 99% of it listed now, but don't quote me on that. This is a vintage belt. I think I also picked up at an estate sale. This was probably from an estate sale that I didn't film. This was from an estate sale I didn't film from. I paid like $1 for this and it sold for $9.50 and the buyer paid $4.50 for shipping. I didn't mark it as male or female because this was just a 40-inch belt, so it could have been sold for either. Really cool. Again, that was something else that had been listed for a while, and then I decided to cross-post it everywhere and it sold on eBay. This express vest was something that I had from my own closet that sold, so we are now at the total of $34, which is just shy of being able to buy a ThredUp t-shirt box. So I haven't decided yet if I am going to wait until I can get a ThredUp box with it, if sold enough to get a ThredUp box, or if I'm just going to take that $34 and go to an estate sale or a thrift store. You know what? How about this? You guys just tell me what you want. Do you want me to take the $34? Do you want me to wait until I can get a thredUP box? Because I've been jonesing for one of those for a while. Or do you want me to just cash out and go thrifting or estate sailing? You decide. I'll go with whatever y'all want to do, because at this point, it's equal. This is a Callaway golf polo. This is something also I got from the Air Force retiree's house, so I paid less than $1 for it. Sold for $17.87, which is a surprise because Callaway golf, while it is great if you're getting actual like golf clubs and golf balls, not the best for clothing as far as resale goes, but this sold for my full asking price. So this was great. This was a great sale, especially with paying less than $1 for the piece. Okay, so we've got pearl snaps, we sold mugs, and now we've sold a tie. So I have completed my trifecta of stuff that apparently no one else can sell, but I can sell pretty consistently. Sold this Met tie. If you don't know, the Met is the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which is spelled out here. That's the Met Gala, is the thing that all the celebrities go to every year, where they wear varying degrees of success in the theme. Sold for $9. Wow, my dyslexia. It sold for $7.90 and the buyer paid for shipping. I paid $2 for this tie. This is another full price sale, and I was very happy to see this. I declined a lot of lowball offers for this pair of shorts because I knew it would sell for full price. This is in a size 14, which is not a size I find very often, especially not in Athleta, which reselling YouTube has told me sells the fastest. So anything size 12 and up for Athleta normally has a better sell-through rate. Sold for $24.87 and the buyer paid $4.50 for shipping. This was something I picked up as I was standing in line to check out at Goodwill in Williamsburg. I paid $4 for this pair of shorts, so this was a great sale for me. This is something I picked up to try. I will not buy this again. Not buy the clothing again. That's not true. If I get it for cheap, I will. But I paid $4 for this tank top at a Goodwill. I know the Noble shoes sell very well, so I wanted to try the clothing. This actually sold very quickly for me. It sold within a couple of weeks after I listed it, and it sold on offer for $10. So I doubled my money, but I didn't realize that these tank tops retail for like $30, so I wasn't going to get much of a return anyway. This is a Tommy Bahama cotton polo, sold for $19.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. Again, Tommy Bahama is, if I can pick it up for pretty cheap, I will pick it up. I know not everybody has great success with this brand. It's got kind of blown out here on YouTube, reseller YouTube. But for me, it's always been a pretty consistent seller. So maybe it's just me, but I still pick it up when I get it in the natural fibers and for pretty cheap. Another piece from the Air Force retirees sale. I paid less than $1 for this. This is a vintage Eagle brand. If you don't know what Eagle is, I don't blame you. It's the shortened form or the modern version of l'Eagle, which is a French outdoors brand. So it is more popular in Europe. It is basically the European and UK version of Columbia here in the States. Again, Air Force retiree, so he was stationed overseas, so he had a lot of Eagle pieces. And this sold for $12.87 and the buyer paid $5.50 for shipping. So ecstatic about that sale. This is a pair of cut from the cloth shorts. I do wish my butt could have fit into these, but it's a size 4 and my butt is not a size 4 anymore. So sold for $11.90 and the buyer paid for shipping. I paid like $4.50 for this pair of shorts. Another one of the country t-shirts from that one estate sale that I bought like so many t-shirts from. So I paid $1 for this and it sold for $9.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. This was something else that was in Moxie's Nest. Lee jeans are sold at Walmart, if you didn't know. I do not pick up Lee jeans unless they are vintage and they are in like the desired styles. So this is Riveted by Lee. So Riveted by Lee is a 90s line of Lee jeans, and this was a pair of women's carpenter jeans. So I sold this for $20 and the buyer paid for shipping, and this is another thing that was in Moxie's Nest. This out of everything is the worst sale I have. So this is a Lauren Conrad dress, which I do not advise you pick up ever. And this is one of the first things I bought when I started reselling, and I was suckered in because it was green and polka dotted, and it was something that I wore a few times, but it's taken 3 years to sell. I paid $7 for this at the Dav. I pretty much broke even because I did get to wear it quite a few times and look cute in it. It only sold for $8 and the buyer paid $5 for shipping. So I legitimately broke even on this dress. I will never pick up Lauren Conrad again unless it's like a really cool collab with a better brand. And the last sale I have to share with you is another piece of restaurant wear. And this is a vintage Wellsville, Ohio bowl. It's green stripe. Y'all know how much I love green stuff. So anytime I see a green stripe piece of restaurant wear, I do rescue it. Because pretty much all of the brands, American pottery brands, so that would be Buffalo China, Wellsville, Ohio. I don't think Tepco made a green stripe, but Syracuse did as well. I pick it up because you can mix and match with the set because they're all pretty much the same. Because it was a very popular restaurant wear piece. So it sold for $11. I paid $1 for this at a thrift store and $10 for shipping. So that's everything I sold for the end of May. There's quite a bit of sales. So in total for this was like 35 sales. Very happy about that. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope this was interesting to see what I'm selling, and I do share all of my sales with you. The $2.55 Etsy sale to the $35 Cinchilla sale, just because I try to be as open and honest with you guys as possible. So I will see you guys for another video very soon. Bye!